Well, our Mustang's idling high and erratic, and also we got a hissing sound up under the engine. And of course, the infamous service engine soon lights on. We need to diagnose and then repair this car, and we'll take you along with us today on Tech Garage. I hope Brian's inside. Welcome to Tech Garage, presented by Advance Auto Parts. Well, our Mustang's not feeling too well. We got a hissing sound, we got a high idle, and bad fuel mileage. Brian, we got a problem.
Absolutely, and you know what? I got some old school tools here that they're going to help us figure out what the problem is. I know we've got to scan for a code and start a proper diagnostic procedure.
That's a great way to scan for a code. I mean, anybody can do it with that tool, but you know what? I already beat you to it. I went ahead and hooked up a scan tool to the onboard diagnostic connector under there, and I got a P0171. Man, that's a lean code.
A lean code. Talk about that for a minute. What's that mean?
Well, a lean code is a lot of air and not much fuel. Lean codes could be leaking gaskets, it could be restricted fuel filters, something that's allowing more air than fuel in there. On the other hand, there's a rich code. Now, rich code's more fuel than air. That's usually a pressure regulator, a leaking injector, anything that's going to allow a lot of fuel to go in and not that much air. So in order to diagnose this one, you got some old school tools.
I do. You know what? You got the mechanic stethoscope. Everybody loves this, right? You take the probe out and you have the engine running. You could actually listen around. Since it's a lean code, we could listen around the engine here, maybe around the intake manifold, and there would be an audible difference if we could actually hear the air leaking through this mechanic stethoscope.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're familiar with this. I mean, we use this all the time, probably
old
guilty
school.
of it.
That's what my dad taught me to do, right? You use some throttle body cleaner, carbon choke cleaner, spray it around there thoughtfully and carefully. Same thing, you'll hear the engine speed actually increase because it's additional fuel in the system, and you could find out, at least localize the leak.
That's right, you know, and we can take it to the next level. You can get a smoke machine. They're inexpensive. I mean, that's going to introduce smoke into the system somewhere. And when we do that, I'm going to go into the intake manifold here. This is going to go through the intake, the throttle body, through all the vacuum hoses. And when I do that, I'm going to run the machine, and that's going to put smoke in here. Now, when that puts smoke in here, I get a flashlight out and we start looking around. And Brian, if you just look on your side, it's going to take a while. We'll fill the whole system up, the intake, the plenum, the whole 9 yards. Lower intake, this is pretty cool. Because you think about anywhere that air's going, right now that's where that smoke's going. Hey, take a look at this.
Nothing back here.
Right over here. Whoa.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There it is, bellowing out. I mean, that doesn't get any more prettier than that. I mean,
nice job. So your modern high-tech tools beat the old school real quick.
Yeah, I can see that. Matter of fact, it looks like an upper plenum gasket there leaking.
Yep. Beautiful.
So what we'll have to do is we'll have to take that upper plenum gasket, or at least off, and do some exploratory surgery and make sure that's what it is. I mean, could be cracked intake, could be a number of things, but we're going to have to get down to that to find out.
I love it. You just saved us a bunch of time in diagnostics trying to figure that out. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing bolts.
Yeah, you take that intake off. Meanwhile, you know, I hooked up a professional scan tool a little bit earlier. I told you I went down to the OBED 2 connector and I hooked up a wireless connector, and I'm feeding out here. And this is pretty cool because one of the first things the shop would do is they would look at this number called fuel trim, short-term fuel trim. And you can see on this one, it's a positive number. Well, it kind of confirms what's going on here, because a positive number means that the computer is adding fuel. Positive, adding fuel. Why would it add fuel? Too much air. That's that lean condition we have. Now, on the other hand, it could be a negative number. If it's a negative number, it's taking away fuel. Now, why would I want to take away fuel? Because the engine has too much fuel. This will give us a good idea what a professional shop would look at, but you know, we diagnosed it with some old school tools. I'm going to go over and help Brian give him a hand with some of this intake stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
Pretty simple. You just got a couple bolts around the top there it's going to take off. I'll pop off a few of these vacuum lines. We're going to have to take the ignition coil off as well, and anything that's connecting to it. Fortunately, it's an upper plenum gasket, not a lower one. That's a lot bigger job.
Yep.
All right, we'll get these fuel lines off. We'll disconnect that. I'll help you with the vacuum lines, and then we'll get this off. You know what? We'll wrap this up. We'll get this off. You go take a break. When we come back, we're going to pull this intake off and see what's going on. We'll be back with more Tech Garage right after the break.